Well, today I'm with my friend Lukas Holzer, co-founder of Straion, and Straion is a dev tool that fixes AI coding drift by providing a central place to define your coding rules so that your AI coding agents automatically fetch the right rules for every task. No more wasted tokens going in the wrong direction. So, Lukas, it's great to have you today.
Yeah, thank you very much for having an already great intro.
Yeah, thanks. So let's talk about that problem. How big of a problem is it with them not having the rules all in the same place for the AI agents?
Great question. I think the problem really occurs the bigger the company. So if you have 150 plus developers, you need a lot of rules to basically adhere to the same style guide so that nothing is falling apart and that the whole software is kind of maintainable. So in these terms, rules are very important. Like we come from bigger enterprises, so my two co-founders and myself, we've worked all together at Dynatrace, for example, and we've seen that the larger the engineering teams, the more pressing this topic gets.
Hmm.
Now, if you think you have your agents MD file, or you know, like all the static markdown files or skills, how to pass like rules to agents, which is like great. Don't get me wrong. Like they're doing a great job for small projects. But if you have 5,000 rules and you put all of them in the context, it's kind of bloating the context. And there is a lot of research out there that basically is kind of the middle problem. AI coding agents are really good in recalling the first tokens and the last tokens, but everything in the middle gets lost. And you don't want that with rules, to be honest, because rules is not something where you say, hey, I'm adhering to some of them. You basically want to adhere to every rule. And what we do with Straion is we identify for which task are the 10 most important rules that it needs to adhere now and just pass like the small amount of rules to the task so that the context always stays very sharp and narrow because we believe in the smaller the context, the more likely an agent will adhere to those rules.
Got it. And so the let's think about the labor and the cost difference. Like I know that you said that now with Claude and everything, you have a lot of engineers that are babysitting the agent to try to make sure that it's adhering. And so that's a big time waster there. So what kind of factors have you seen as far as time savings and that kind of thing?
I cannot give you concrete numbers yet, to be honest. Like everything would be made up, I now tell. What we've seen so far, because it's really hard to measure that, to be honest.
I
Like
see.
there is no standardized way to measure that. We are currently in the progress with our design partners to get like there are so many angles to that. Like, what do you measure? Do you measure like kind of like time a pull request took from issue creation to deployment, or like what are the metrics here to track? But there is sadly no metric how many times the agent was course corrected
Mm.
from a developer. So what we've seen just is it's very frustrating. And there is a great article from Stack Overflow that basically highlights that like over 60% of developers are frustrated by code that's nearly correct, basically, where they
Ooh.
then have to interact and like course correct it.
So got it. So there's definitely a sense that you get from the engineers, like when they use this, they feel a sense of relief, right? And
Yeah.
and things go faster. And then can you see the actual drop in the usage of tokens by not sending the AI down the wrong path? Like can you tell that it actually used less tokens?
In our benchmarks, we can tell that it used less tokens, but I think it's not about using tokens or like what are $2 for
Okay.
more tokens if it saves you 10 minutes of your time. I think the time you as an engineer saving is way higher than any token cost, in my opinion. And for us, it's like if you want to work on multiple agents in parallel, you don't have the time that you go in every agent and like, hey, I need to course correct there, I need to course correct there, because the mental load is already extreme, to be honest. Like we have
Mhm.
to learn now managing five agents in parallel from a cognitive shift. This is like crazy already. And now you have to jump in and help every agent. Like that's not practicable.
Got it. So I also saw on your website that it's very easy to get started with you guys. The process is simple, like you mentioned, like define your rules, install the skill, AI gets context, validate and ship. It's that easy, right?
Yeah, should be 5 minutes. Like it's
Okay.
really you can drop in the rules from like some markdown documents you have from your conference pages or like existing skills or whatever where you've defined that. We then turn those like marked on or written sentences in something that's really understandable for an agent. Like, a rule should be actionable. It shouldn't be ambiguous. It should be really clear to the point what is like kind of the outcome of this rule. So we help you on phrasing them. Then you have all the rules in there. In the meanwhile, you can just install our CLI. That takes care of setting up the skill for Cursor, Claude Code, or GitHub Copilot, like what is installed on your machine. And that's basically it.
Nice. So I think I also saw that it's much easier to onboard a new engineer and give them this tool from the beginning, and it just really makes their life a lot easier.
That's our big promise, or let's say that's what we are hoping for, that it will really help. Because, if you enter such a large organization, you have quite a long ramp up time and like get to know and how to write code, etc. So code reviews take quite a while for seniors as well. So we don't want to make juniors or like entry levels faster when they enter the company. We want to take a lot of the burden from the senior engineers that have to review their code. And everybody hates reviewing AI slop, or
Yeah, true, true. So who would be an ideal prospect for you, like company size, engineering team size? I know you talked about quite big companies, big teams, but who's ideal and who could benefit from your product the most?
I think most benefit would be for smaller enterprise companies that have like more than 150 engineers that are probably distributed, because we've seen that there is way more rules needed if they're distributed. They don't have an office culture or something like that, and that are currently adopting AI tools. Like they are in the beginning of adopting to Claude or whatever. And often what we've seen here is, should we now settle with skills? Should we settle now with agents MD? What's the right way to go for it? Like they don't want to make a mistake and roll back then. So we can help them take this burden and saying like, hey, put all the rules in one central place. You don't have to manage them in various repositories, just on one single piece. And we take care of, like, if a rule changes, everybody has it on the
Hmm.
fly. Like we take care about the distribution, and we take care about supporting Claude Code or Cursor or whatever.
Yeah. So Lucas, I heard that you also got an award recently in February, and can you talk about the award and what that means?
Yeah, we were lucky with our big launch on Product Hunt. So for people that don't know Product Hunt, I think it's a very famous site for launching new software products, or I've even seen hardware product. And we've made it the second product of the day, right behind Anthropic, which was driving a huge new wave of customers and new signups to our product. And yeah, being second behind Anthropic, I think is not a big shame.
That's awesome. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, thanks.
Cool. So how can people learn more and engage? Is it something that people can try out for free? And what person in the organization is usually the one that first tries out your product?
Everybody can try it out for free. So we always want to have kind of a free version, for kind of a product-led growth motion, where we believe in, if you're an engineer in those big companies, you should try it on your own, because you don't want to like use a tool you've never tried out and experienced on your own and seen the benefit. But it's clearly the engineers that will have the most contact points on that.
Hmm.
From a management perspective, I think the big benefit is that your engineering teams really get the 10x productivity everybody is promising, because that's kind of an unhelped promise so far. Because everybody says, hey, we need to adopt AI, it makes us 10 times faster. And the reality is that they suffer then a lot from code reviews or like course correcting, babysitting those agents, which is not the 10x
Yeah,
promise, I
you're right.
think.
Yeah.
So like the managers get the benefit and the engineers use it day to day.
Got it. Cool. Well, Lucas, this has been really cool learning about Straion, and I just look forward to watching the success and growth and adoption of your product. And yeah, thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Awesome.